the whole year. So we want to make sure that we're really focusing for this final week of reading. And then what we're going to do is really focus on writing the last couple of full weeks. Anyways, this week we're going to focus on finding multiple themes in one text. This is a bit of a review because we already talked about how readers determine themes. So I'll just really quickly go through that one more time with you. The first thing that you want to do is try to think about moments where the main character overcomes a struggle. You can also analyze how the main character changes and what causes this change. And lastly, make sure that when you do determine a theme, that you're thinking about it in a universal sense. So this can be applied to multiple books, multiple stories, and to do that, a good way is to start your themes with either sometimes in life or sometimes people. They don't have to start that way, but that's a really good way to just kind of check to make sure that it's universal. Okay, so today we're going to focus, and that this week we're going to focus on identifying multiple themes across one text. So really there's just two things that you need to do. First of all, you need to identify those two themes or life lessons from the text. And just a little tip I said is to try to think about themes that are shown throughout the whole text. Okay, and then secondly, you want to just make sure that you can support each theme with evidence from the text. Um, we've talked about this all year, but the more evidence that you can find to support something, the stronger it is. So I'm saying try to find two pieces of evidence um, from the text to show each theme if you can. But if you can't, that's okay too. You at least need to find one piece of evidence to support each theme. Okay, so remember, I'm reading Marshfield Dreams, so I'm thinking about this in terms of that text. One thing that I am going to say is this um, page in your digital reader's notebook that we finished a couple of weeks ago can become very helpful here because if you were jotting or when you were jotting about theme, you can use those jots to help you. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. So that's why we did the notebook. So what I did was I went back into my notebook and I looked at the two themes that I came up with and the evidence that I came up with already. I already kind of did that thinking and I can just use that in my response. Okay, so for the model, the question, which is up here, is identify themes that are especially important in the book Marshfield Dreams. Provide multiple pieces of evidence to support your response. So I'm just going to go through my sample response with you. Okay, so I begin by saying there are two big life lessons that are especially important in the book Marshfield Dreams so far. One theme is that in life, a part of growing up is noticing when things change. A second theme is in life, you should make the most of the time that you have with your family and friends. Before I go on, just notice that I'm trying to start my themes with these like universal sentence starters in life, right? In life, that helps them to be universal. Okay, so now you could see with the color coding that I'm going to be supporting my first theme that I identified in blue. So an example of how noticing when things change is a part of growing up is when Ralph realizes that things change between him and his father. His father stops giving him a goodnight kiss. He doesn't fully understand why his father stops doing this at the time, but he realizes that his father and him drift away from one another in a little bit because of this. So I actually only gave one example here, but my response would be stronger if I gave another example. Okay, and then the second part here is going to be supporting my second theme. So Ralph also realizes that he should make the most of his time that you have with your family and friends. Ralph describes small, seemingly insignificant moments to him at the time, but explains how these moments bring him closer together with his family. For example, he describes his time in the woods with Jimmy, and this is where he really learns more about who Jimmy is as a person. Another example is when he also describes times that his family do things together, such as sneaking up the rug. This shows a time when all of his siblings could be together working toward a goal. So hopefully with the color coding, you can get a sense of what I did here in my response, how I have the blue is one of the themes that I identified, and the pink is another theme, and I tried to support each one of them with at least one piece of evidence from the text. And you can see that here in the highlighted part, that's where I included examples. So again, you want to at least have one piece of evidence for each theme, but if you can come up with two, that's even better. Okay, so today's task, you're going to pick I'm sorry, you're going to pick, ignore this, not a part, but you're going to pick two themes in your independent book that you've been reading and try to support those themes with evidence from the text. And just a reminder that today is a practice day, so it's not going to be graded. But on Thursday, just like we did last week, we will have a graded check in where you'll try this skill of finding multiple themes and supporting those themes with evidence from the text and actually the same story that we read last week. Okay, so that's going to be graded on Thursday, not today. And if you have any specific questions, of course, I'll be there to answer them. And off you go.